a Canadian radio sanctuary podcast.
Consumer advocate Ralph Nader. We have a number of areas we'd like to cover with you, but perhaps you could bring us up to date on something. There was a news release about a month ago regarding the fact that, now correct us if this quote was wrong, but something along the lines that you were speaking out in favor of the U.S. auto industry in contrast to the Japanese cars.
Well, yes, although the auto companies in Detroit are not building the kind of cars that motorists deserve, the small U.S. cars have been shown to be safer in crashes than the small Japanese cars. These tests were conducted by the Department of Transportation in Washington, and the results are available for anyone in Canada or the United States or elsewhere to request.
Now, was there not a request, too, to the UAW and Douglas Fraser to have various ads put on television?
That's right. The UAW last fall put in $200,000 in what I thought were quite ineffective newspaper ads asking people to buy American cars in order to keep workers on their jobs. I thought that Mr. Fraser of the UAW could do better if he gave consumers a reason for buying American cars, and one reason was that the small U.S. cars are safer than the Hondas or Datsuns or Toyota small cars in crashes.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying then, as opposed to just saying buy American because it's American, prove a point and show that they are also better in this area or that.
Exactly.
I see.
On the other hand, the auto companies in Detroit are succeeding in getting the Reagan administration to destroy the federal auto safety program, and pretty soon there won't be many auto safety standards of any consequence left, and none on the horizon. So the situation is pretty bad now for motorists who will be paying higher auto insurance premiums and will witness a larger casualty rate on the highway and more pollution in the air because the pollution controls for cars and trucks are going to be weakened by the Reaganites as well.
That's news to us. You think it's also news to the American people as a whole? I mean, we haven't heard any of that.
Well, the announcement was made last week by the Department of Transportation, and although they deceived the public in explaining why they were cutting back on the auto safety standards, the result will be, as I indicated, higher insurance rates and more casualties on the highway. They have postponed or canceled safety standards that would prevent motorists from going through windshields and crashes. They have postponed any further consideration of fuel efficiency standards. They're cutting back on pollution controls on diesel engines and large trucks in particular. That's just a few of the backpedalings and revocations that the Reagan administration engaged in. They're saying they're doing this to help the auto industry in Detroit. It's difficult to see how the auto industry is going to be helped by being allowed to sell shoddier cars, more fuel inefficient cars, and less safe cars. But that, of course, is just an excuse. What the Reaganites are really doing is selling out to Detroit.
What are you going to do about it?
Well, we may file suit on a number of their proposed revocations because we don't think the statute permits their doing what they're doing. But by and large, it's going to have to wait for the 1984 elections, and unfortunately, thousands of Americans will be killed or crippled on the highway because of the destruction of a really very important life-saving mission, the Federal Automobile Safety Program and Pollution Control Program.
Mr. Nader, it's such a step backwards. I can't believe that they could get away with this.
Well, they were engaged in a highly deceptive campaign last fall, and Jimmy Carter made it even easier for them to win. You know, if it's a choice between Tweedledum and Tweedledee, and people don't like Tweedledum because of the last 4 years, they take Tweedledee. It's really, in another way of putting it, is it's the tremendous control of corporate power now over Washington, D.C.